Okay, we're gonna start working on symbols. Symbols can be either bitmap or vector graphics. You can see the collection of stuff down here. Let me just refresh this so that you can see that there's like these are from the campaign cartographer. The reason why I have these actually in my selection. You can see all the CC3 and the dungeon designer uh, symbols as well in there. The reason why I have them in there is because up when I purchased the campaign cartographer from Pro Fantasy, they had a deal with NBOS software, and which you can go ahead and upgrade if you already own Fractal Mapper, which I did, and you were able to get a load of these symbols put in to your selection of different symbols that you can use. So in here, I think most of these are um, PNG graphics, but I'm going to show you inside the actual interface here how to build your own, and I will show you some that I've done myself. Where did I put them? I think I put them in battle map, random sets. Well, I do have some random sets here, and these are of my own makings. Mountains, we have some trees, and we have some hills. And what else? Oh yeah, I added these little rural things. Let me get a map here started so that you can actually see what's going on here. Okay, we'll leave that as is. We don't really need to do anything in there for this one. Background color, let's just go with a white. Okay, and we'll go 50 by 50 miles. And let's back off out of here. Now, you'll notice that there's probably a little bit of when I go over my icons here, I might leave them quickly like that. You can see that it highlights it I actually have this zoom tool selected. So just in case you're wondering about that, see, it goes ahead and highlights these icons inadvertently. I think it's from using this recording software that it might glitch it out just slightly. So let's just take a look here. Um, you see it made a little patch here that you can barely see. Go back here. You can see this is kind of like a now you notice that when I zoomed in and I went ahead and put down another symbol, um, it created the symbol as if it was zoomed back out again, and therefore it made it a little tiny guy like this. What I suggest is if you start putting down these symbols um, on your map, make sure that you are at a consistent zoom level when you start putting them down. Otherwise, they'll be not the right size. I mean, you can resize them if you want. Grab the handle here and pull them out and resize them. You can do it that way, or you can actually change the. You can't do it here in the actions. You can rescale them right here. If you want to do it that way, you can. So, but these are just little uh, rural kind of things that I have, farmlands kind of idea. Let's actually get rid of these two. get the select all, delete. So let me back off here so we can get the full size of the 50 by 50 area. Now I am using random, so I can click and start placing them down if I wanted to, and I could go ahead and use a random rotate and scale and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. So if you want to place down some quick patches of different things, it randomly sets them down. We can do random scale, random rotate if you want to do something different. You can bunch them all together like so. You can zoom in and take a look at how that, click on that and zoom in, sorry, and see, yeah, we got a few of them here that that have little buildings and stuff on them too as well. I mean, it's not entirely a foolproof, you know, system. Like if you build your symbol and you know, on a large kind of background as you build them, they'll end up with this big border around it, which makes it a little hard for you to kind of readjust and and situate your symbols where you want them to go. And this one comes with a transparency, so you can play around with that and try different things with transparencies. Now let's get back into how we can actually create one of these things, and we're gonna actually do like mountains here. So what we'll do is we will create a new map, new, and no, we're not going to save changes to that. And we are going to make this a 10 by 10 mile because we're going to be making like mountains and stuff. So let's go to the map setup and we go 10 by 10. Okay. Click that and zoom back out so we got a good view of our whole palette here and use it all up. Now, thing is, you start using lines, and lines will, when you back off, when you zoom back out, depending on the line thickness, your width of your line, it may look a little weird, especially if you print it off and the lines look really thick. So I try to avoid using lines as much as possible when making symbols. You don't have to be in any special mode to start making a symbol. You just have to have, you know, basically a square area that you want to start making your symbol with. And I prefer to, you know, to start it off at a size which I will be, you know, using it at. This is a 10 by 10 mile. It doesn't really matter, but because it all depends on how you zoom in is the size of the symbol when you plot it down. And I'll show you how to overcome that slightly. What I usually do is when I set a zoom level that I'm comfortable with and I start plotting them down, the symbols down, and they look right, I go ahead and save the view. You can save views here, so you can add a view. And when you save a view, it saves it at the zoom level that you're at. So it keeps it at that consistent zoom level. So when you start plotting them down, you're not like, you know, in this case, you're 4.99% zoomed in. And if I accidentally bring it in with my scroll and bring it to 5.49, you don't really notice a difference. However, it makes a difference when you start plotting down your symbols, and they don't they don't look like they're sized properly. So if you go ahead and save the view at a particular zoom, then if you ever accidentally go up, and you forget what that zoom level was that you had it at before, you can always go ahead and click your view, and your view will be in here once you save it, and then you'll be able to zoom right to that exact level once again. So let's build. Maybe we'll build a mountain here. Now, this all depends on what color the background is for your map. Like um, you might have a colored background. You might have just a white, background for your mountain or whatever. Um, if you're making like a token map and say that your color is like a tan color for your land, like this here, then and you wanted the mountains to just look like they're just drawn in with pencil, and you want your mountains to actually match the same color when you plot them down. So let me go ahead and start making. I got the fractal factor at 0, so let's go ahead and make a kind of like a mountain peak here, maybe a couple mountains. And you can see we get the base of it designed out like this. And there you go. Now select it, because remember, whenever you complete making an object, and you basically use your left hand mouse button to plot down the points, and then you right click when you're done, it instantly deselects the object. So if you select the object, you'll see where your points are. And we want to get rid of the line from solid to clear. So now all we have is this kind of an outline like here. Now I'm going to create a black fill now to outline everything. And I won't be using lines, because when you zoom out, lines will look thicker when zoomed out and thinner when you zoom back in, because they're vector. And the vectoring, the lines are not dependent on the zoom factor, so it'll look strange when you zoom out, and they just don't look right. So now I've got everything selected black, so I'm going to do a black outline. You can do it inside, or close to the edge of your current mountain peaks. Okay, we'll go like this. And kind of give it a kind of like a drawn look outline here. There we go. So we got that. And now we will add maybe, we'll go ahead and do some blackened sides of the mountain here. So there we go. And we'll go here and also do the same thing. You have to kind of use your imagination on how you want this to kind of look as far as a, as a drawn look. And we can add maybe a few lines to kind of show that we've got some, you know, crevices happening on the mountains as well. Okay. There we go. These are starting to look like cool mountains. All right. So what I'll do is end up making a whole collection of these, like maybe do one with just one mountain coming up, maybe a couple of mountains, and then maybe, a grouping. And then maybe later on, I'll go ahead and grab this group and another group and, overlap one onto the other, and then save that as a symbol itself. And that way I can make these random sets over here of different types of mountains, and have them made that way, so that it makes it more random looking. Let's go ahead and add something here too. There we go. So we have that. We go ahead and select everything. Doink, just like that. Everything's selected. And now we go ahead and we're going to make a symbol. Let me see. It's been so long since I've done this. Create a symbol. That's all you need. It's in the actions. Create symbol. And now you have a symbol created. You can see it's got the outline border here, showing where the symbol basically ends and begins. And we go. So our symbol, we will go ahead and we're going to have to place this symbol someplace. So we'll go back into actions, and we go to export symbol, and you can export this into your map art, I guess. I'll put it in there. And let's see, we have standard. I put my stuff into users, so I'm going to call this mountain 01, and then save. So it's in my user file here. Okay, so when we go ahead and we go and create a new map, and we can save this as a map on its own, but I don't want to. Just get rid of it right now. So now, when I go ahead and look in my, let's see, standard symbols, you didn't see that because it went past the camera view. Now I have all my symbols here, and here's my mountain that I've got selected here. I've got a bunch of doors and stuff that I've created as well. I would select the mountain, and we go ahead and click, and down it goes. Now we went ahead and gave it random rotate, so just go ahead and select that and delete it. Have it plot down like this, and you can keep on plopping them down as in your view, however way you want to. Let's Let's actually zoom out here and we'll plop down some more just so you can see. See, it stays at a consistent view on this one here. File, let's create a new map. We'll go ahead and change this to 300 by 50. Whoop. We should maybe make it look a little with 300 by 150. There we go. Okay, so we'll zoom in. Again, I apologize for these little guys glowing every once in a while. Kind of a pain. Alright. And there we go. So we can start plopping down. And if you had your you can random scale them as well. So and we can take a look at how that's going down. So you can see it just the one symbol can make a real difference. You can go ahead and readjust them now, align them however you want. Look, we got a little tiny guy. And this is just with one symbol. If you go ahead and add them in as random, if you go ahead and make a collection, you can make a random set of all your own and create a new set in here and add the different types of mountains that you want here. For example, this set here of mountains, I could use those instead and plop them down. This is a symbol fill. This is just a single symbol. So we're just going to go ahead and try this one so you can see what it looks like. This is what it would look like with like a multiple, whoop, edit undo. I thought I clicked the zoom, but I didn't. And you can see that it creates these symbols here so that sometimes you get a little guy like that. And which kind of, makes me kind of, every once in a while with this particular mapping tool. What you should be kind of careful the way that you plot these down, because if you do any kind of click, you'll end up with large and small ones that are massively huge. But you can see the variety that you can create here. Let's zoom back out. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. And we go hit my delete button. Now you can also do the random symbol fill, and you can try this out. You just go ahead and make an area of where you want your symbols to be in, and you can adjust it. We can go ahead and undo that, and we want the spacing to be not so spaced. And try this for a mountain range. And we start getting a little bit more interesting. Let's go ahead and bring the spacing down to that, and we'll go undo. And I'm just using my mouse here. I'm not using my pen tablet or anything. This is all just using a mouse. I'll get into using the pen tablet and stuff later on. So you can see it kind of makes um, a range, although it looks kind of mechanical. I mean, it does plop them down um, in an arrangement that you can almost work with. Let's go ahead and use some variety here. Let's undo that. Go back to here. We'll keep the spacing low and we'll use a random scale slightly. And now we'll plop down these like that. Now it starts to make it look a little more natural looking with the random scaling going on. So you can quickly put down these mountain ranges like this if that's more preferable. And you can see since I've changed the zoom, it's plotted these down in a slightly different scale. So this is why it would be preferable that if you're going to stay with, say, for example, this zoom at 20.49%, then go ahead and add this as a view. Name the view as 20.49, just so that you know. When you go ahead and bring your view back down to 20.49, you'll know that it is what it is. So if we zoom it and say we want to get rid of all of these and all of these and keep on reproducing mountains at this scale, and you'll see that as soon as I start plopping them down, they're not at the scale that I want them to be. So go ahead and delete that. And delete those ones too. Here. All right. So then you go ahead and you say, okay, I want to go back to that scale. There you go. And now you can start plotting down once again another range over here if that's what you're going to be putting down, and keep on going. You're at that scale right now, so it is handy, but yeah, a little bit a little mechanical looking for sure. Let's try a really close space. There we go. Some cool mountains there. Whoop. You see my go ahead and undo that. I think it's because I have this camera set to refresh rather quickly in the number of frames per second that sometimes I miss hitting that zoom tool properly. And there we go. So yeah, you can go ahead and create trees this way, same way as the way that I made that mountain, and yeah, just save them out and save out a lot of them so you have a lot of variety. Put sets together, like start plotting. Like I could go ahead and create this as a set, so I can go like this. If I wanted this range as a set, symbol set, now I can go ahead and create a symbol out of that. Click create symbol. I'll go ahead and do that. There you go. It's whoop. Edit, undo. I was just trying to grab the handle there. Let's do this again. Grab it. Go ahead and create symbol. Okay. Creates a symbol like that, but I want to be able to drag this so that's off of there anyways. I can grab it. But you can see now when you're going to be plotting down this symbol, this is going to have this large area. So when you plot it down, you can see these ones have a large area in which they, encompass the region. So when you're grabbing stuff, it's a little harder to grab the particular mountain that you want to adjust. Stuff that you gotta kind of look at and go, whether or not it's gonna be, you know, something that's gonna nag at you or whatever. Like this isn't a perfect drawing tool. It's very useful, but it does have some problems with it as well, with the way it does things. And this is one of them, causing a huge area. So I guess you could probably confine this if you went ahead and did a little, 10 by 10 mile area again, and recreated by plotting down a few of these symbols and then and putting them together that way. It might confine the area of which it creates the symbol layer itself. But yeah, this can be kind of a pain if you're plotting stuff down, and then later on you're like trying to grab like a if you had a town situated right here, this overlapping the whole thing be just kind of aggravating. But once you get all these down, grab them all, stick them onto a new layer that can't be selectable, and then if you have a town on a town layer, then you can make the town layer selectable and you won't have to worry about selecting all of these things. So it's one way to work around this kind of big selection blob. I can't select anything underneath here because this whole area is covering it. So there you go. Some things to think about. I mean, even the campaign cartographer has some quirky things with it too that you have to deal with as well. So everything has its own kind of limitations. But yeah, I go ahead and create symbols in this program a lot and use them. Not in a grouping like this. Usually I just use the my mouse and plot them down one symbol at a time, and then adjust them the way that I want them, and then keep on going. It's long and tedious, but it's better than having to draw each one of these out individually. And if you get a collection of these different variances, then it actually kind of looks like a drawn map. It's really cool. So hope that helps in you figuring out how to make symbols and arranging them into you know your symbol set library. And yeah, have at her, have fun. Okay, talk to you later.